Hello, this is Christine Casey with the Honeybee Haven on the UC Davis campus in Davis, California. Placing a solitary bee house in your garden is one way to help bees. Let's take a look at these and how to build, buy, and use them. If you'd like to learn more about the bees that nest above ground in these houses, check out our video on leafcutter bees. The link is in the description. Leafcutter bees naturally build nests in tunnels underneath tree bark. We can recreate this habitat in our gardens with nesting blocks or other tubular nesting substrates. The female makes several trips to collect pollen and nectar and lays an egg on the food provision when it's large enough. She then collects leaf pieces or other nesting material and wraps the egg in food for protection. The process is repeated to fill the nest. Here's a cross-section view of a completed nest. Each curved section is one egg. I dissected this nest and counted an average of 15 leaf pieces per egg. These are examples of leaves with pieces removed by leafcutter bees for nest building. Notice that the removed pieces are C-shaped and always have smooth edges. Notched edges mean the chewing was done by a beetle. The common name leafcutter is a bit misleading, as bees in this family will use many different nest building materials, although each species is consistent in what they use. These nests have been filled with leaf pieces, plant hairs, and decomposed granite. Look carefully at the empty nests on the upper right, and you'll see how bees chew their way out, while a female filling her nest is emerging on the lower left. So you want to be a solitary beekeeper? Whether you build or buy, place your nest so that the entrance is out of direct wind. In hot areas like California, it should also get afternoon shade. It may take a few years before bees find and start using your nests, but once they do, they tend to return to the same location each year. The nest on the left is what we build and sell at the Haven. It's made from untreated redwood with holes of the appropriate depth, 4 to 6 inches, and diameter, 3, 4, and 5/16 inch for leafcutter bees. One study found that some bee species prefer blue nests, so we paint ours, although this certainly isn't required. The burlap wrap helps to shade the nest entrance if you don't have a spot with afternoon shade. Nests can also be made out of plastic pipe, like on the lower right, although you must close off the back to prevent light intrusion. We place our nests in a bucket kept in an unheated, sheltered location over the winter. This keeps the eggs at the front from rotting and prevents squirrels from chewing on the nests. If you choose to buy your own leafcutter bee nest blocks, be sure they are correctly sized. Many of the houses sold for gardeners are the wrong size and depth. Bees also won't use houses that are open in the back or that move in the wind, and large nesting tubes, like that shown in the center here, will be used by spiders, not by bees. To build your own wooden bee house, start by cutting a block of redwood or other untreated lumber 6 inches long. Here I'm using redwood from an old fence post. This slightly decayed wood is similar to what bees would select in the wild. Clamp it securely in place to drill and be sure to wear safety glasses and hearing protection. Make your holes 5 inches deep using bits that are 3, 4, and 5/16 of an inch across. You'll likely need to purchase longer drill bits, and it helps to mark them to get the correct depth. If you're using a wooden bee block, replace it once the holes have been used to prevent disease buildup, since it's not possible to sterilize these. Or you can buy paper straw liners like those on the upper right that are changed after each season's use, so you don't need to discard the block. Be sure not to use paper straws that aren't specifically designated for bees. They may not be the right size, and they may be made from paper pulp that contains pesticide residues. These supplies can be purchased from beekeeping supply houses or online as mason bee supplies. Bee houses grouped together in large numbers, often called bee hotels, have been promoted as a tool for leafcutter bee conservation. In most urban gardens, however, nesting sites are not a limiting factor, so this large number of nests in one spot is not needed. Indeed, large groups of nests like these can facilitate disease spread. It's best to just place a few small nests scattered around your garden. Also consider that plants with hollow stems are used for bee nesting in the wild. When you prune these, leave about 6 inches of stem behind for the bees to use. You'll find a tip sheet on building and using bee houses on our webpage, and there's a long discussion about using bee houses following my Bee Gardener blog post review of these. I've added links to both in the description. Please share and like if you found this useful. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.